Hi and welcome. My name is Jen and I am a product photographer turned Amazon seller. A little bit about me, I spent many years doing photos and videos, always behind the camera, and I realized that my photo and video skills were better suited in my own brand. And so that's what I did. I launched my first 2 brands on Amazon, and I could not believe the amount of success that I had, and I realized it was directly attributed to my ability to really tell a story with my photos. I want to give you some tips and tricks on how photography really impacts your Amazon listing. The first and most important thing when you are developing your photographs for your listing is making sure that your first image is as compelling as humanly possible. When people are scrolling through Amazon and they're looking for a specific product, the first thing they're going to see is that first image. And it's going to be plain because everyone's picture is just a product on a white background. And so the way that I approach this is I look at all of my competition. So I'm going to look through every other competitor's listing first image and see what it looks like. Do they have their bottle turned at a certain angle? Do they have a person's hand in the picture? How have they displayed their image? And then I like to creatively think about a way that I can do it slightly different. How can I make my product look a little bit different? How can I make it look a little bit more interesting? How can I make it look bigger, stand out more colorful, more vibrant, whatever that might be? And the purpose of this is really just to make sure that when people are scrolling through, you're the image they pick. And so having a really beautiful image there is critical to the first metric, which is your click-through rate. The average click-through rate is about 0.33% on any product on Amazon, and I've been able to reach click-through rates of 1.17%. Now that you've got a great hero image for your product, it's now important that the rest of the images match that level of quality. If you are going to photograph your products yourself, like I did, it's really important to put a lot of time before you start the photo shoot into the planning process. I spent a lot of time looking on Pinterest, looking at competitors, thinking about all the features and benefits I would want to highlight of my product. And so I had already mapped out what all of the images were going to look like before I even shot them. So starting with your features and benefits, if one of the features of your product, let's just say you have a candle and your candle has 3 wicks. You want to highlight that your candle has 3 wicks when everyone else's candle only has 1 wick. A way to highlight this, you could actually have a photo lighting the 3 wicks of the candles, having 2 of them already lit and you're lighting the final one. So you can really show the difference between your product and the competitors. And you can overlay that with text highlighting that fact. So I would take a picture of myself lighting the wick and then I would add on there 3 wicks in big bold text. And because your product is going to be higher quality than your competitors' products, you really want to get nice close-up images of those details. So if you have reinforced materials that have certain layers to them, you're going to want to actually take these close-up pictures of that and then highlighting that with text so people can really see that your product is higher quality than any of your competitors. I have an entire checklist on the types of images I make sure to include and my whole pre and post marketing plan for every product I launch in the description below. So if you want to get a copy of that, be sure to grab that. I do believe having great lifestyle photographs is critical to your Amazon listing. And so if you can find a family member, a friend, or even if you need to hire a model or an influencer who's local to you from Instagram, that is really going to help elevate your products. Just make sure that the person that's in your pictures is actually your ideal customer base. If you are going for a Gen Z, a millennial, or you're going for 40-year-old men, you want to make sure that's who is photographed in your product pictures. My last and final tip would be to overshoot. Take way more images than you think that you're going to need. And the reason that you want to do this is because you are going to want to create A+ content for your listing when you do get your brand registry. And this A+ content is going to be giving your customer a few other views of your product. And you want variety. You don't want to repeat the same images over and over. And having extra images is going to allow you to be able to create more compelling content for your listing. In terms of gear, I obviously have professional cameras, but I do not think that these are absolutely necessary. I think using something like your iPhone is just as good in the meantime. If I were to invest in anything and I were starting over, the first thing that I would invest in is lighting. And there's a few different options for this. So the first option would be something like a ring light. I wouldn't recommend a ring light though if your product is highly reflective or is glass or anything like that, because you're just going to see a giant ring on the product and that's not attractive. But if you have a product that's matte and you're not worried about having any sort of reflection, a ring light is a perfect place to start, and you can get these very affordably on Amazon. If you do have a more reflective product or you just want to take it up a notch with your lighting, I would recommend getting the Godox SL60W. This is a continuous light, and if you're not a person who is a photographer, you don't really want to be dealing with flash and those sorts of things. So having a continuous light where you can see exactly how the light is shining on your product when you're photographing it is super helpful. So you can get this light, it comes with a stand, and then you can get a diffuser for it as well so that you can control the light. And what's great about these lights is you can buy multiple different diffusers and they're super affordable as well. I will leave a link below to that Godox light that I use, and I use this for 90% of my product photography. I love it because I can do soft light, I can do hard light, so I can make it look like it's the sun shining, or I can make it look like it's sunset. And so having that ability is very critical, especially when I want to be able to create my own product photography very quickly and easily. Just to summarize, the importance of your product photography cannot be overstated when it comes to your Amazon listing. Amazon is a super competitive space, and so being able to stand out with your product photography is critical to being able to get the click-through rates and the conversion rates that you truly want. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this.